Thanks for joining us, everybody. This is a new segment that Career Development at Augustana has started, and it's just a way for us to kind of connect with our students in Augustana community in terms of different frequently asked questions that we get as career coaches. So welcome to FAQ Friday. My name's Alex Washington, one of the career coaches at Augustana, and I primarily work with the business students. And I'll introduce two of my colleagues, and then we'll kind of go through some just some general ideas of the things that relate to the job search process, and also part of what this new normal might be in terms of the job search process, in terms of dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic here. And so we'll go through a few of those questions, and then we'll get to ways that you can reach us, and then be able to, kind of connect with you guys and know that we are here to help you through this process in terms of your career management. So first, if we can have my two colleagues introduce themselves, we'll start with Joe Giffen and then move to Katie Petrovic.
Hey everybody, my name is Joe Giffen. I am the STEM and pre-health professional career coach.
Hey everyone, good morning. My name is Katie Petrovic and I am the Arts and Humanities career coach. Hope you are all safe and well at home.
Awesome. Thanks for doing that, guys. And I think, what is important to understand is that these are just suggestions. These are ideas that we talk about a lot with students. And so don't take them for, the exact science, because every situation is a little different. But these are tips and ideas that I think will definitely help you guys through this process. So let's get started with the job search process. So just in general, if you think about this, like, these are the facts, these are the numbers. So basically the time that it takes to find a job is probably going to be about 3 to 6 months, depending on, the various factors here. And so understanding that it takes time is something that is important to think about when you do and go through this job search process, but then also understanding that the average number of applicants is roughly 250. And so you've got to do some things to really kind of sell yourself, but also highlight, the great skills that you've learned through your undergraduate education, coupled with some of those internship experience that you might have had as well. And then lastly, just a number to keep in mind is there's almost roughly about 2 million people that'll be graduating with a bachelor's degree in this coming year. And so just know that competition, is pretty, rampant in terms of looking for those open positions. So best ways to combat those, or think about those numbers and think about this process, just remember that it takes time. And so understanding that, the earlier you can do some of this work, the better. So rather than wait till, May to think about finding a job, if you can maybe knock out, your resume and your application materials and get, target list in order, those kind of things, then that'll help ease some of the burden and stress that comes with finding and going through that job search process. So just remember that it takes time. Your friends might, get a job earlier than you do, and there's nothing wrong with that. You should celebrate that and be happy for them. But also remember that, your time and your journey is yours, and for you to own. Secondly, it takes effort. As career coaches, we want to see you guys succeed, but also we can't be the ones that are putting in more effort than you are as the person that's looking for that job. And so we're here to partner with you, and we'll do everything in our power to help you guys achieve those career goals. But at the same time, we expect kind of a partnership in terms of this relationship to help you achieve those career goals. Also, just based upon the numbers, remember that you'll probably likely get rejected. You're probably not going to apply for one job and get that one job. If you do, that's awesome, and we'll celebrate. But, it might take more than one application, or it might take multiple applications. And so being able to handle kind of, those disappointing emails or communications about that is something that helps with your career resiliency, but also is a part of that process that happens when you're looking for a job. And then no one's going to do it for you. And so I always encourage people to do, you've got to humble brag for yourself, right? You don't want to sound arrogant and those kind of things, but you've got to be your biggest champion. So, when you're creating that resume, creating those cover letters, going through those interviews, you've got to really kind of sell yourself, not so much on, being not being authentic, but at the same time being able to say, this is the value that I have, this is the value that I've learned, and this is how I can be of value to your organization. So those are some of the basic tips when it comes to that job search process. So we'll get to some of the questions. Question number one, I'll take this one. How do I narrow down my options, I feel like the job search can be overwhelming. Thanks for that question, Sam. I've got a couple strategies I think that'll help you with that. And I think it all kind of revolves around the idea of staying organized and being consistent. And so the more disciplined we are in this process, I would assume the lower the stress level will be. And this is not always fun. And so setting a goal is one of those things that I think you can really, be able to center yourself around. And so how many positions am I applying for? Or, how many titles am I looking for? How many organizations am I going to identify this week or this month or, the next 3 months can really kind of help you stay organized. But I also would suggest creating some type of document, whether that's a Word document, a Excel spreadsheet, in a notebook. Maybe you can draw it out, whatever that might be, to identify certain areas that'll be, important in this process. So that might be your job title. That might be different companies or organizations that you want to work for. I would also enlist the websites or where you found the application from. A lot of people will kind of bookmark them in a folder. It's probably easier if you can just put them in a document where you can click on those links. I would also encourage you to use the date applied for and then the date followed up with. So, when you have maybe completed the application, but then also if you followed up with that organization or not. Lastly, I would even include something like salary information or, maybe you have a contact at that organization. That way you can open that document and see all the relevant positions. You can get a scale of how many you've applied for, but also you can look at, see the relevant information that's important through that process. So staying organized and consistent is definitely one of the factors that can help you through that job search process. The second piece I would say is, creating some type of document like this. And so looking at the 3 factors that typically go into that job or internship process, you're looking at location, usually industry, job titles or duties. I would also add maybe a 4th kind of circle to this Venn diagram here. And that might include something that might be personal to you. Maybe you've got some things that you want to fill in that might determine what your job or internship search might be. But typically these are kind of those major factors. So thinking about location, whether that's general, United States or a state or a specific area or a metro area, or even down to a specific city or town, list those locations that are possible. Thinking about that industry, whether that's in healthcare or banking or fine arts or what that might be. And then thinking about job titles or duties. Sometimes job titles can be the same at different organizations, but you do different work. Or sometimes they're different titles and you do the same work. So not so much getting caught up on the title, but it is important to understand, in that industry, what are job titles for the positions you're looking for, but also factoring in, what are those job duties or what are the responsibilities that you want to be involved in. Now, it's going to be really hard to write this in these little circles here. So using kind of that organization document, whether it's an Excel document or handwritten or something like that, will help you be able to kind of make sense of this process here. Moving on to question 2, where are places to search for jobs and are there remote options available?
Yeah, that's a great question, Sam. So let's kind of take a look at some of these generalized different resources that we have. Again, as we talked about before, we're all career coaches for different areas. And so I'm going to go over some things that you can use generally, but if you need more specific guidance, please feel free to meet with us. So one resource that we have for you as students is Handshake. We have students that work to approve jobs and make sure that it's not some guy that's sitting in the back of his van that's trying to randomly hire someone. So we know we have verified approved jobs for students that you can take a look at. You can search them by industry, you could search by major, you could search by job type, right? Like remote, full-time, part-time, internship, something like that. I really love mynextmove.org. I'll get into that in a little bit here on one of the next slides. There's other websites too, just like Indeed.com or FlexJobs.com to help you look for remote positions or regular positions. LinkedIn is a fabulous way to do some networking. You can also look at the top, there's a jobs tab, and you can set that to let recruiters know that you're on. And you can have different types of positions that you're looking for in different locations. And that's really an easy way to get jobs delivered to your inbox every single day. We also encourage you to take a look at different company websites for positions that you're interested in or professional organizations. That's a great way to bridge the gap between being a student and being a professional. And then last but not least, recently Augustana College has created something that we call Viking Connections. So this is in conjunction with the Alumni Center, and we have alumni that have volunteered to network with you as students and kind of help connect you to certain fields. So if you take a look at the website and you type in Viking Connections, from there you can see a list of all the folks that are willing to talk to you and kind of help spring your job search forward. So next I want to just show you the Handshake homepage. There, as you can see from the welcome page, if you have your profile set up, you will get job recommendations based on your major. And then at the top, there's the jobs button. And that's where you can go through and you can use the filter to search for the types of jobs that you want. Like I said, you can look by industry, you can look by major, and you can look by different type. After that, I want to show you my next move. So what I really like about this website is it pulls all of its information from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So it's giving you information that's from people's tax returns to kind of tell you what's going on in the job world. So let's pretend that I'm a student that's a graphic design major and I'm interested in looking to find jobs that are related to graphic design. So if I go to mynextmove.org and I type in graphic design, what it will do is come up with the top 20 jobs that are related to the industry of graphic design. And let's say I'm interested in being a web developer. The nice thing about this is when you pull up and you click on the web developer page, it will tell you the different names that this job could be called. So I feel like a common dead end that students run into is they're not quite sure exactly how do I search for all of these different types of jobs and different names. So it's nice to have different things that you can plug into Indeed, that you can plug into your LinkedIn. And then if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, there's a nice Find Jobs tab for you. So you'll see that there's a lot of useful information on this. It tells you about the personality that you need to have in the job, the skills. It gives you the average salary. But at the very bottom, there's that Find Jobs. And so what you can do is you can click on that, and it will pull up, and you'll be able to search for jobs based on state or based on zip code. And so that's another easy platform for you to use to look for jobs.
Awesome, thanks, Katie. Question number 3. I am nervous about the job search process with everything that is currently going on. What are some things that I can be doing to be successful?
Yeah, and that's another really great question. A handful of things that we can do just to get started right off the bat. We always want to make sure our application documents are ready to go if we see the positions that we're interested in. So the very first thing is having your resume and cover letter already created. The second is to continue to look for these jobs over time. Alex talked a little bit earlier about making some target lists. That's definitely something that you can just start doing right now. Practice interviewing. With that, you can actually just Google different questions based on the job title, see if there's been any common questions asked between all the interviews, and just to start getting an idea of what you can be asked down the road. Definitely meeting with us, one of your career coaches. This can definitely help you really answer any questions that you can't find on your own, or if you have any clarification that you need. Networking, we have informational interviews. Katie mentioned the Viking Connections piece. We do have our LinkedIn alumni tool as well that we can help you get connected with other alumni that aren't on there just yet. If you find any professional social media groups, that's another really good way just to start getting connected within the industry right now. And finally, attending events. Given the current situation, right now there aren't too many in-person career fairs or any major in-person events. However, there are virtual career fairs. Just searching based on industry and virtual career fair, there's a handful that you can definitely just pull up right off the bat. And over the next couple slides here, we just want to talk about briefly how you can contact us. So right now, if you want to request an appointment, Handshake is the best way to do that. We are doing digital appointments specifically. Zoom will allow you to call in or have a webcam meeting with us, depending on what you want. You can also just email us directly, Alex Washington at augustana.edu, Joseph Giffen at augustana.edu, and Catherine Petrovic at augustana.edu. And finally, the biggest thing that we're doing right now to help students, we're doing virtual drop-ins. I know previously we had them in the afternoons. We've kind of moved that back a little bit from 11 to 2. And we also have evening hours from 4 to 6 on Wednesday. So with that, if you notice at the bottom there, there's different Zoom meeting ID numbers. If you have any questions on how to actually join, all you have to do is, in essence, send us an email and we can, help you with that process.
Awesome. So just in recap, it's important to understand that the job search process is, something that takes some time. And so I think it's important for everybody to just realize that, you manage your expectations and know that, things might not happen right away. And so these are just some simple strategies, some simple tips that we wanted to share with you guys in terms of, what you can be doing during this time to improve your odds for some of those job searches, but then also recognizing that different organizations operate their job search process in different ways. Communication styles are different. So being flexible and nimble enough to understand those things. So in closing, thanks for joining us. We'll do a few more of these on some of those frequently asked questions that we get as career coaches. But once again, thanks for joining us for the first edition of FAQ Fridays with the career coaches at Augustana. Have a great day.